Welcome to Hyper Profit. I'm Andru Edwards, and while none of this is financial advice today, I want to talk about one of the most popular stocks on retail investing platforms right now, Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. There's a lot of misinterpretation of what Palantir does. So in this video, let's set the record straight and talk about what Palantir is, who its clients are, and why I think it'll be one of the top 3 most important software companies in the world. In fact, Palantir will be demonstrating its Foundry software to the public on April 14th, and I think it's gonna open a lot of eyes as to the future potential of this company. Now, first, as always, a quick overview of how my portfolio is doing. This week has definitely been a brutal one, and I've seen a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt out there. Now remember, days when the market is down are the days where you can buy stocks for cheap and then ride the wave back up. So if you're a long-term investor, these should be your favorite days. Okay, so as you can see here, for the day, I am up 1.7%, a nice recovery from yesterday, which was a drop of 6%, which you can see reflected here. For the week, I am down 5.03%. For the month, down 6.14%. For the past 3 months, down 5.64%. For the year, up 8.98%, and then all time up 8.46%. Now this is skewed just a little bit. I did have some stop losses fire off, so I took a bunch of profits out and then rebought those same stocks as they dipped. But since I made that transaction to sell and then rebuy, you don't see those profits that were gained that I took reflected here. So that number for the past 3 months should actually be a gain of about 28%. if everything else was taken into account and reflected here. Now, moving on to Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. Be sure you hit the like button if you want to see more deep dives like this, and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Palantir currently sits at a price of $22.70. For me, this is a buy zone, and this is why you need to have a Webull account so you can buy in the pre-market and aftermarket with the rest of us here on this channel. Link is down in the description below. The market's already closed, but Webull gives you an extra 8.5 hours of trading time per day, which allows you to scoop up deals like this while everyone else is sleeping. So as you can see here, I own 350 shares of Palantir at an average cost of $24.40 per share, and sub $23 is one of the lowest prices I've seen for it since I've been invested in it. So I'll definitely be picking up more Palantir today in the aftermarket after I'm done recording this. But the question remains, what is Palantir? And why do so many people describe it as a secretive company? Well, there's some truth to that statement, since Palantir primarily had clients with strict confidentiality requirements, companies and governments in the defense and intelligence sectors. Now that their client base has expanded into areas like healthcare, things are more open since people have a right to know how their personal health data is being used. Palantir is a software company. They describe themselves as building digital infrastructure for data-driven operations and decision-making. They make software products that connect a company's data with its analytics capabilities and operations. Now that's a super corporate sounding description, but what it basically means is that for companies that have different data and information across their organization in systems that don't talk to each other, Palantir's software can bring all that data together, analyze it, and help someone behind a desk make decisions about what to do based on that data and analytics. For example, if a major healthcare organization needs PPE supplies for thousands of hospitals across the country, each with their own separate data storage, Palantir can help analyze the info from those thousands of hospitals to figure out how much supplies need to go to each based on several factors like location, disease rate, the distance from distribution centers, etc. I'll give you some examples in a minute of how different companies have used this to their advantage, but drop a comment below letting me know how you think Palantir software can help specific companies or industries, because we've got to be thinking for ourselves when we're doing our research. Now, Palantir software also helps companies manage this data. Obviously, personal data of customers needs to be kept secure, as does the data of clients like the US government agencies, the CIA and FBI, and the military. Palantir brings military government grade data security to every client who uses their product, and there's a use case for Palantir in every industry you can imagine. In fact, their product is used in over 40 different industries across 150 countries. They're growing into the commercial sector after dominating the government sector. Palantir also has a wide moat as they're almost recession proof. They have contracts that were paid for several years in advance up front, and they've shown themselves to be a necessity in all economic and political seasons, which is very hard for a startup to do. They recently charged the UK NHS £1 to trial their software, and that became a £1 million contract. They also helped the UK roll out vaccine with military precision, which became a £23 million contract, which is equal to about $32 million. They've also got the golden goose of AI learning from government contracts. This is a data set that extends far earlier than almost every current commercial business will ever have access to, giving Palantir a huge advantage over any companies looking to come in and compete at their level. Palantir will be demonstrating its Foundry software to the public on April 14th, and there's a lot of excitement in the commercial industry. Some use cases we've seen using Palantir include JP Morgan Chase using it to find rogue employees who are carrying out fraud internally, Fiat Chrysler identifying faults in car parts, manufacturing errors, and decreasing emissions, Airbus identifying manufacturing issues and increasing capital, BP analyzing drilling data and increasing capital. So again, this works across industries and for many different purposes. With software like this, once a company sees a competitor using it and getting results, they're almost forced to use it too, so that the data gap between the two companies doesn't grow. Similar to something like Salesforce or Microsoft Windows becoming an industry standard. Holding Palantir long term is something I plan to keep doing as I add shares to my position over time. I expect this to be a very solid long-term play over the next 5 to 10 years. If you're looking for a get-rich-quick stock, this one likely isn't that, as the price is going to fluctuate up and down. However, I focus on buying shares in companies that I think are undervalued when looking towards the future, and that I think will help change and redefine industries as a true disruptor. Let me know in the comments if you own any Palantir or if you plan on picking some up during this dip to hold on to long term. Any questions you have about Palantir, also leave them in the comments. I'll meet you down there for further discussion. Thanks so much for watching. As always, guys, I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Hyper Profit.